Okay. Share the right one. All right. So I am going to go to Notepad++ and get my pseudocode open. And when I open Notepad++, of course, this tab was already open up here. My Chapter 3 Sale Price Program pseudocode, which is one of the great things about Notepad++, right? It always opens with whatever you had there last. So can everybody find this? I can post it to our Discord if you want a new copy of it. But if you've got it,
yes, please.
Do that? Okay. Let's see.
Is it already right there? Yeah, actually, I just saw that.
Is it still right there?
Unless you changed it.
I don't think so. We should be good. Oh, yeah, it's the last thing. All right. Yep, that should be the exact one that I have open. So that'll be all the same. Okay, in our sale price program pseudocode, we started out with some comments. And in Raptor, we can do the same thing. So now that we've got this pseudocode open that we can refer to, let's go ahead and find that Raptor program. You know what? If they don't have this one, are they giving me this? Okay, so hopefully they'll have that one fixed. Yeah, just log up and still that one for now. Is everybody else's Raptor working okay? Do what? Good, good. Okay, great. I'm thinking it's just pick and uncleave it, hopefully. That's it. They're just intimidated, huh?
Yeah.
That's what it is. They're scared of you. Okay, so I'm going to try to get my flowchart right beside my pseudocode. You don't have to worry about doing that. I know you're worried about the Zoom session and all that stuff. You should be able to see everything here from mine so that you can focus on your Raptor flowchart. So I want to put some comments on this thing, and I think I can do it somewhere in the menus, but if I just right-click on any of our symbols, I can choose comment. And so I'm going to go ahead and put the same things that we had, the sale price, program, flowchart, and then I have accept the original price and calculate the sale price. Sure. I'm wondering if I can make that bigger. There's one thing about Raptor, the little dialog boxes, it's really hard to increase the size of the text.
So now how do I go about getting the sort of
The pseudocode, if you go to
it just
no,
on the other one.
If you're okay on your comments, just go ahead and click done. We'll get that right with you. So I'm going to click done too. Get caught up with ya. Okay. Now, the first thing Raptor does is complain to me about needing to save this. Well, I'd already saved it the other day, so I'm going to pick that file, Chapter 3, Sale Price Program Flowchart. That's actually what this is, because this one ended up being blank because we were just trying things. Now, while we're here, take a look at this Raptor file. When you're submitting to Canvas, you want to make sure that you're getting the actual Raptor file. If you're not seeing file types, you might not see the .rap, but you should see the dinosaur icon on the Raptor file. The reason is Raptor tries really hard to take care of you. So every few minutes, it's going to take a backup of your flowchart. So by the time we're done, I'm going to have several files in my folder with the same name, and they're going to be like .bk0, .bk1, .bk2, which is great because that means if something goes wrong, you have a backup of your flowchart. But if you submit those for an assignment, I'm not getting your up-to-date flowchart. I'm getting some sort of backup at some point in time that might not be what you wanted to submit at all. So just make sure you're getting the actual Raptor file. And we just have a few assignments where you have to submit these, but we'll make sure that we get the right thing in there. Now I'm going to click Save, and I want to replace it. So now, finally, I can see my comment. I'd like to declare our variables just the same as we did in our pseudocode. So I'm going to use an assignment symbol. The first variable, I'll double click on this box. The first variable is item name. I want to start out with this variable and let Raptor know that it's a string. So I need a double quote so Raptor knows it's a string. So the easiest thing to do is just put in here a double quote and a space and another double quote. And then Raptor will set this to be an empty string. The double quote's telling it, hey, this is going to be a string. And we'll see that a lot in programming. Uh-huh.
Is that a special case? Wouldn't that be a string with one space in it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's not an empty string.
So yeah, it's not completely empty. It'll look empty.
I thought
Thank you. You're a detail guy. Yes, you're absolutely right. And if we really wanted it to be totally empty, we'd leave that space out. So either way would be fine for Raptor. So now the next thing we want to do is create another variable. And this variable is going to be our original price, and it's a number. So for our original price, we'll set our variable name, and then we want to set it to a number value. And since this is a float, we should have a decimal part. So I'm going to put 0.0. A float means it's a number that has decimal places, a decimal part. Yeah, float variable. And since Raptor's kind of like, it's a number, I don't care, we're going to make it care, or at least pretend it does. Now the next one, the next variable that we have is an integer. So let's declare it, and it's going to be named discount rate. And we want to set it equal to 0. So it's an integer. Now we have some more variables. So these first three were our variables that we're going to get information from the user for, our input variables. Now this next bunch are going to be variables that we're going to use in our calculations. So I'm going to use another assignment statement. And the first one is going to be amount saved. And it's a float, so I want 0.0. Raptor's being weird and kind of won't let me scroll down, so try to get it. The next one I want is sale price, and it also is going to be a float. $0.0. Then tax. And finally, total price. And that's finally all our variables. So let's see if I can zoom out a little bit so you can see them better. You should have our item name string, original price and discount rate is things we're going to prompt our user for, amount saved, sale price, tax, and total price is variables that we're going to use in our program. All look good? So now we can do some work. Get that out of the way. In our pseudocode, the first thing we want is our main module. Well, in Raptor, we're actually looking at our main module right now. That's why it says main up here on this tab. And as we add other modules, we'll add new tabs to our flowchart. So we're actually in our main module right now. And the first thing that we want to do after declaring all of our variables is call our input data module. And that's going to prompt our user for input. So to put a module on our flowchart, we use this call symbol. It looks just like the assignment, but the big arrow beside it. So I'm going to drag this symbol onto my flowchart right before my end, and it's going to have that big arrow on it showing that it calls something else. Now when I double click on it, I can put in the module name that it calls. And we said this was going to be our input data module. And on my pseudocode, I just left it all kind of lowercase, and I can't really have spaces in that module name like I do on my pseudocode. So I'm adding some underscores, but you could change that module name however you like, whatever's meaningful to you. Now, when I click done, Raptor's going to ask me if I want it to create a tab for this module, and I'm going to say yes, I do. Now it switched me right to it. So here is my main module. And then if I click on my input data module tab, there is that input data module. So let's run this thing now. We don't have anything going on in our input data module, but remember when we run our Raptor flowchart, we'll see each symbol turn green as it gets processed. So I'm going to turn my execution speed super low. That's what this slider bar is how fast is your flowchart going to run. Here at first, we want them to run really slow, and after you are pretty good at it, you're going to want them to run really fast. But right now, I'm going to make it play really slow, and I'm going to play it. So I'm going to start out with my start and then declare each of our variables, and we should see them get allocated over in the watch area. Notice that Raptor kind of ignored our 0.0. We saw it jump to our input module and then come back because our input module didn't do anything. Is everybody's work okay there? Good, good. Okay, let's fix up our input data module. In this module, we want to prompt our user for the item's name and then the price and the discount rate. Now in this pseudocode, we kind of prompt for the price and the item discount rate together. And I don't know if Raptor's going to let us do that. We might have to do separate input statements for each of those. So I've got my symbols here. I want to drag an input statement onto my flowchart. Now for this first input, my prompt is going to be exactly what it says here in my pseudocode. Like you could copy this from double quote to double quote and paste it here in this input prompt area if you wanted to, because we want it to be exactly the same. What is the item's name? Copy and pasting is always fun and good. Now, when they type that in, I want to save it in my item name variable. That's going to be the one that holds the item name. So we did everything perfect here. Our prompt is a string, so it's got double quotes around it. We're able to use this single quote inside those double quotes. But if we had a double quote inside there, we'd have to do some additional work. We've got our variable name where we want to save. And notice Raptor shows it to us in red. I'm gonna have to put this on. Sorry. Now we need the price. No, I might have to go outside. Original price. So sorry. And then the next thing we want is that discount rate. So I knew today was going to be bad. I'm going to put it in here. It is the little plates that they use in the labs to do all the experiments. It's apparently when they're cooking those is when I'm having reactions. So yay for figuring it out. But they did cook some yesterday, and she said they were cooking some this morning. So I was hoping things would be good, but I kind of was expecting. So I'm kind of the opposite of what you would think, because when I start coughing, if I put the mask on and get away from the allergens, then I can stop coughing, which is the opposite of what you would think. You don't want to block yourself off. Okay, does our input work? Let's try it. If I run my program here, should see all my variables. Excuse me. What do we want our item to be? I'll make address. And let's see, I'll say my dress is $80. And it's on sale for 20%. Now, you should over here in this watch area see those values that you typed in. If our variables are getting set correctly, we'll see those values. Does everybody look okay? Got stuff? Awesome. Now we got all our data. So according to our pseudocode, the next thing we need to do is our calculations module. So again, I'm going to find this call symbol and I'm going to drag it onto my flowchart right before the end. And when I double click on this one, I'm going to name it calculations underscore module. And then when I click done and it asks me if I want it to create a tab, I'm going to say yes. Now in our calculations module, we have some new variables. So we need an assignment statement for those. The first one is amount saved. So I'm going to set that to,
Did we do that earlier?
here. Did we already do amount saved?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it should accept that because the variable has already been stored and kind of made.
Yeah.
It's still 0.
It looks like,
If you try to set a set of numbers to a variable that doesn't exist, it just creates a new variable.
well, let's not do this one again then. Let's create our tax rate variable. Now our tax rate is a constant. And we can't say anything in Raptor about a constant, but a constant, if you remember, means the value never changes. And our standard is to name those variables in all uppercase. Now again, Raptor isn't going to care, doesn't even care about case, but that's our standard, so we'll do it. We're going to set our tax rate to 0. But since it's a constant, we really need to set it to the value that it's supposed to be, which is what? Let me find it.
0.065.
Oh, you're so good. Perfect. Now we need to do some math statements. For our math statements, we're still going to use an assignment statement. So drag an assignment statement onto your flowchart. The very first math we're going to do is to calculate our amount saved. So our set is always going to be the variable we're trying to get the answer for. And we want to set that to our original price times our discount percent. Is that what it says? Oh, times our discount rate divided by 100. I wanted to make sure I was doing that right. Now, in our calculation, we've gone ahead and put parentheses around the division here to make sure that we divide that discount rate by 100 before we multiply it by the original price. Now, when I click done, I should see that formula in that assignment statement. Now, the next one is to calculate sale price. So my set is going to be sale price. And I want to use my original price and subtract that amount saved that we just calculated. Now notice how The order of these statements matters a lot because I couldn't calculate the sale price using this amount saved until I've calculated the amount saved, right? It will come out wrong. Raptor would let me, it just wouldn't be the results that I expected. So we have to make sure we do it in the right order. Okay, after we've got our sale price, we can do our tax. And in the same way, we couldn't calculate our tax till we knew what the sale price was going to be. So our sale price times that tax rate variable we created. And then one more. This last one is we're going to set our total price equal to our sale price plus our tax. And remember, whenever we got our specifications for this program, they gave us those calculations, what they wanted to happen here. So we didn't have to go out and come up with the calculations ourselves. Should we test? Let's try it. We did a lot of calculations there. I'm going to run my flowchart. See all my variables get allocated. Okay, let's see. Coughing makes me not be able to think, so I'll just do a dumb dress. 80 again. 20%. Now again, I'm watching this watch window to check to make sure my variables are getting set properly. Looks like everything is good. Everybody okay? Yeah.
I got, can't mix it.
All right, let's output all this stuff. Now I got to go back to my main module. I got to. And down at the bottom, after the calculations are performed, I'm ready to output all the information. So I'm not going to use this output symbol until I'm actually in that module. I'm going to use the call symbol to create our module. And it's going to be called output module. And yep, I want a new tab. Now in our output module, come on, you silly thing. I want to use the output statement. And when we use the output statement, our output is going to be directed to this little master console window that we haven't really looked at very much. So we'll be able to tell that our output worked properly. Now, the first thing that we're going to output is our item name. So I want to double click on this output symbol. And notice it just has one big box of what we want to print out. So I'm going to say that I want to type out the item is with a colon and a space. And then I want to end that string with my double quote. And then I want to add more to that string because I want to add the item name variable. In Raptor, down at the bottom of the output statement, we have this checkbox that says that we want to go ahead and end the current line of output with this line. So that means the next thing we output will be on a new line. So let's leave that set and click done. We'll go ahead and put another output statement in. And this time, we'll do this pre-sale price was colon space, double quote. And then after our double quote, we're going to add the original price variable. I'm going to output again. Percentage discounted was, and then I want to add the discount rate. Now let's do a messy one. I'm going to grab my output symbol. And for this one, I'm going to output the sale price. And I'm going to use a special character called a control code to force Raptor to go to a new line. So I'm going to put a plus sign to add more to my output string. And within my double quotes, I'm going to use the backslash, which is the one above the enter key, and N. So backslash N is a special control code that says go to a new line. After that, I'm going to add the stuff for the next line. I want it to say sales tax colon space plus our tax amount. Plus, I'm going to add another backslash N, new line. And finally, the last line is going to say total, colon with a $sign. And finally, my total price. Now I'm going to leave that sitting there for a minute because I've made this one kind of messy. So notice how there's always a bunch of different ways to do things, even with Raptor. So we started out with our output module, doing a nice output statement for each line we wanted output. And then we decided to get all fancy with it and output 3 lines with one output symbol using the backslash N character to go to new lines. Let's click done. Let's try it. Now I'm going to run my program, my little flowchart here. Watching my watch window.
Yeah,
What's it tell you?
it is that character is something like X, sell price plus sale price plus sales X. X. I don't understand the error.
See if that takes care of it. What you got?
Still getting X.
Is it? I'll check it real close. Hang on.
It just seems like it's, yeah. Did you put yours in?
Anybody else? It's a messy one.
Yeah, so both of us wound up with the same issue, which is that they treated that return as a string.
Like the slash is just are a part of it, right?
Oh, okay, so it didn't go to a new line.
Yeah, mine's showing up as backslash in as part of the text.
Yeah.
Well, Raptor's just not gonna let us do that? That's weird. Let's see.
Yeah.
We'll find it and figure out why. So is that the only problem? Everybody else good? That's good, if that's our only problem. Okay, let me just make this thing stop. We'll go look at the book, because I think they say something in there about that. Try unchecking that box.
Yeah, I did. It worked.
Didn't matter.
It says the new line indicator is going to be something different.
Oh yeah, it wants something different. It wants us to use this weird thing. Let me get it in our flowchart. That's fun. Okay, I'm going to go to my output module and double click on that symbol that we have so much stuff in. And what they want instead of the new line is the less than, NL, and then greater than. Now, they do not have that within double quotes. So that means that we'll have to take out all those double quotes. Oh no, what a mess. So sorry. Let's see if we can fix it.
Still does not work.
It doesn't like that either. Well, let's just go to one line. I'm going to get rid of all this mess then. We as developers understand what battles we should fight, right? And this one's not worth it. So we're just going to make it be one line of output, sale price plus our sale price variable. And then I'm going to grab another output symbol. And this one is going to be, this is what I get for showing stuff, sales tax. Plus our sales tax variable. And finally, our total. We wanted it to say total dollar. Plus our total price. Okay, is it all pretty now? Let's try it. I guess I want to buy something bigger. I'll buy a couch. How's that? And we'll say it's $750. And we're going to get 20 is our discount rate. Now, as it goes through our output module, we should start seeing those output lines show up on our console screen. Oops, sales tax. Let's see, I've got a variable that's incorrect. It should just be tax instead of sales tax. Fix that. No big deal. And this is when I want my flowchart to run faster, right? My couch, 750, 20%. And then you should see your output on that master console screen. Everybody's okay?
Mine keeps getting stuck on the tax one as well.
Whenever you're looking at it. Over here, you can see what your variable names are. That's what I was doing, trying to see if I see what it was. So this So we're going to create some today. Now, if you have any trouble with that, let me know. What we want to work on is this supermarket product price assignment. I'm going to open it up in Canvas. And this is a lab, so that means we want to do it in class, in lab time. And we're going to do two parts. So first, we're going to create pseudocode to solve this thing. And then after creating pseudocode, we're going to use Raptor to create a flowchart to go along with it. Now, you're going to be working with somebody else, but you're going to both do your own files, your own pseudocode, and your own Raptor flowchart, because I want you guys both to get a chance to get your hands on it. Sometimes we have watchers, and this kind of assignment doesn't work very well for watchers. We want everybody acting or actioning. So when you're done with this one, you're going to upload both of those files to this assignment. So on Canvas, you're gonna click submit, and when you add a file, you can just add another file before you actually submit the assignment. Now, I'd like for you to work with the people that are close to you so that that way you can remember who you were working with and have all this great experience together and everything. So let's see what we've got. I kind of just wanted it to be a two-person team. So most of our area, we have people pretty well split up. So let's see, our back row, we have you two guys and two and you two and you two. Hang on, we'll figure it, and then you two. Now, do you want to work on this today on your own and work with Jesus next time since he's sick today? Or do you want to work with someone else today and then
It's
we'll...
up to you. You can put the three of us together.
Yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and work with Josh behind you.
I was gonna say, put the three of us together.
Do you want to do the
And then
two
I
of
can
you?
split next time off.
Yeah, and you guys can do that too if you want to. Yeah, I think that'll work good. Let's do that same thing then up here. The three of you guys will just work together on it. You don't want to do a group of two. I think that's nice. And then you two and you two. Now, if you don't know each other, you don't kind of get to know each other.
Where can we find this pseudocode that we're supposed to write?
You are going to just go to Notepad++ and write it. Now, what is it supposed to be about?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what he's asking. Important question. So in our book, at the end of each chapter, I'm going to go to the table of contents. They have these different sections, and you'll see if you have your hard copy, it's color-coded on the spine. We have running with Raptor at the very end of each chapter, and then after that, we have the chapter review and exercises, and this is where those questions are that you guys have been working on. We're going to go to all the way to the end to the programming challenges. The first one that we want to do is challenge 2. In challenge 2, I'll leave this up here on the board too. The manager of supermarket would like to be able to compute the unit price for products sold there. To do this, the program should input the name and price of an item per pound and its weight in pounds and ounces. Then it should determine and display the unit price, the price per ounce of that item, and the total cost of the amount purchased. So here's a list of the variables that you're going to need and the formulas. So let's make, before you guys get started, let's create an IPO chart. And remember with the IPO chart, we want our inputs, our process, and our output. So for this one, our inputs are going to be the name of the item, the price, of an item per pound. So I'm going to say price per LB, and its weight in pounds and ounces. So we're going to need 4 inputs in our program. Now our processing is pretty much going to be these 2 math equations. And I got to tell you, this textbook does some funky math, all right? And as you get in here, you're going to say, this isn't right, it's not right, it's not right, it works. I don't know why. A lot of engineering people have explained to me how it's wrong, and I totally agree. But it'll work, and it's just a little program, so that's okay. So we're going to use those formulas as our processing. And then our output, we want to see the unit price of that item and the total cost of the amount purchased. And I mean the unit price is the output there. So you're going to begin by declaring the variables that you need, having your input module to prompt for those input variables that we need, having your processing module to do the calculations, and then your output module to output everything. So I'm going to turn all this off and leave it to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Now, next time, the other assignment, the bowling alley, will work at the beginning of class. So we'll just have class time to be working on that other lab. So I want you to get a little practice with these, and they're both a little different. So let me know if you have any questions on this one.